Hey everybody, just a quick little update from Moscow. Some breaking news actually. A huge amount of Western armor has broken through and made it all the way to Moscow. Bit of a problem though. It all arrived on the back of Russian military transport. As you can see, the Russian army has decided to display a lot of its captured US, UK, Austrian, French, you name it. I mean, there's equipment here from just about everywhere. They're getting ready for a large exhibition here at Park Pobєdy. That's a Finnish transporter. I think that's a Bushmaster, probably totally destroyed. But there's a lot of equipment here. That's an AMX-10, a French wheeled tank. You've got a huge amount of equipment. I think that's a Bradley, partially destroyed, but probably in pretty good condition. Beside that, a Ukrainian, looks like a T-72. And this stuff kind of goes on and on. It stretches right down towards the huge pavilion here. And there's a big museum here. Park Pobєdy means Victory Park. It's an incredible museum actually. I've done a report from there before. But I suppose what it signifies is most important, right? This actually is a German Marder fighting vehicle. You can see the Ukrainian markings on it. And these were widely touted, of course, as game changers. In front of that, I think it's an M113. There's a lot of equipment here. As you can see, it's a huge site. Getting ready for the May 9th parade, Victory Day. Probably, dare I say it, culturally the most important day in the Russian calendar historically. The 9th of May, the day of victory over fascism, the day that the Red Army defeated the Nazis. A vast Nazi army, probably one of the biggest armies ever assembled anywhere, was defeated at a huge cost, of course, to the Soviet people at the time, 60% of whom were Russian. You actually get a better view of some of the equipment here. You can see a British Saracen type vehicle here, which will be familiar to anybody from the north of my country in Ireland, where the British Army used these vehicles. I think that's a Pinzgauer, an Austrian Pinzgauer, I could be wrong. It's either a Saracen, I could be wrong, and a Cossack armoured cars. There's a huge assemblage here of all the equipment which the Russians have captured. Now, of course, they've destroyed vast amounts more. But it's again the symbolism of these. What this symbolizes here, just ahead of Victory Day, is exceptionally important to the Russians. Remember, the Russians just didn't get the memo about being completely defeated economically, militarily. And it's a great source of interest to people. Of course, security is fairly tight, and understandably so, but the public will be able to get up close and personal with these pieces of equipment from the 1st of May, 9th of May being Victory Day. So I don't think this is how it was supposed to pan out for NATO. Again, they're not the first group of individuals, let's say, who had ideas for Russia about invasion, about overthrowing the Russian state. And of course, this has been about inflicting a strategic defeat on Russia. And this has got to be embarrassing for NATO. It's basically a huge parade of captured and destroyed equipment. And why not? Why shouldn't they do it? Early in the conflict, I remember Russian destroyed tanks were put outside embassies in Europe. And people were quite disgusted with it. But here, this is a symbol. It's a symbol, as I say, of resilience, a symbol of unity with the people here. People coming from all over the city to have a look at this equipment. And it signifies resistance, and it signifies that the Russian people have no intention of bending over for the West. They have no intention of losing. I think it symbolizes also a renewed sense in Russia that they don't need to be ashamed of themselves or their military or of what's happening in Ukraine, that people are increasingly starting to connect with the reality of why this war is being fought, who they're fighting against, and why they have to win. They have to win. The Russians have to win, because a defeat in Ukraine would signify an opportunity for the Western powers who fuel the war to try and destroy Russia completely. And that's their plan. They even say that openly, that they want to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia, destroy it economically, destroy it culturally, carve it up, and remove its government. I mean, it's remarkable that the Western powers can say this stuff so overtly and openly. But they have now. And, you know, we've come to a point where escalation is probably the only avenue of forward motion for the West. So I don't necessarily think things are going to get easier as this reality dawns in the elites. But what we see here in front of us, it means something, right? So, from Park Pobyeды, saying goodbye from Moscow. Look after yourselves, be good to yourselves, see you soon.